Ramakrishna Math, Bhubaneswar welcomes everyone to this spiritual retreat on 18th November 2025. Our program will start with an opening song sung by the students of Brahmananda Chhatravash. Now, we will request revered Swami Atmaprabhanandaji Maharaj to present a flower bouquet and shawl to revered Swami Sarvapriyanandaji Maharaj as a token of appreciation from Ramakrishna Math and Mission, Bhubaneswar. Thank you, Maharaj. Now we request revered Swami Atmaprabhanandaji Maharaj, Secretary Ramakrishna Mission, Bhubaneswar, to give the welcome address.
Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma sarupine avatara varisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namo jananing saradang devim Ramakrishnang jagadgurum padapadme tayo sitva pranamami muhurmuhu. Dear monastic brothers, assembled devotees, admirers, students, and friends, I, on behalf of the inmates of this ashrama, extend a hearty welcome to all of you to this spiritual discourse to be presented by Swami SARVAPRIYANANDA Maharaj, Minister in Charge, New York Vedanta Center, United States. Perhaps you will appreciate that such programs are very rare, because whenever any prominent personality like Sarvapriyanandaji or other monks visit our ashrama, then only this type of program is arranged. Now Sarvapriyanandaji is on a hectic tour. He has come to India for only 1 month. So his tours reminds me of the program of Swami Ranganathanandaji. Suppose he took his breakfast in Delhi, lunch in London, and dinner in Paris. So, something like that. I heartily welcome Swami Sarvapriyanandaji on behalf of all of us. I fondly remember we worked for some time together at Devghar Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapit, now a residential higher secondary school under CBSE. From that time, his knowledge, his technique of work, everything was exposed through his work in the school. Practically, so far as I remember, he used to work the duties of a vice principal of that school. Anyway, I read some lines regarding his monastic area. Swami Sarvapriyanandaji has been the minister and spiritual leader of the Vedanta Society of New York since January 2017. He joined the Ramakrishna Math in 1994 and received sannyasa in 2004. Served as an acharya of the monastic Probationers Training Center at Belur Math, India. He also served in various capacities in different educational institutions of the Ramakrishna Mission in India and the Assistant Minister of Vedanta Society of Southern California. During 2019-20, he was inaugural fellow at the Harvard Divinity School, which is a very prestigious course. Swami Sarvapriyananda is a well-known speaker on Vedanta, and his talks are extremely popular globally. So far as I have heard, that quite a few thousand of Christian people are his followers and few Muslims also. He has been speaker on various prestigious forums such as TEDx, and Google Talk, etc., etc. The Swami has engaged in a dialogue with many eminent thinkers such as Deepak Chopra, Rupert Spira, Rick Archer, David Chalmers, and Sam Harris. He has played a prominent role in organizing and participating in various interfaith panel and seminars, including speaking at the World Parliament of Religions in Toronto in 2018. Maharaj is a prolific writer and speaker. His publications include Mahavakya, The Essence of Vedanta, Fullness, and etc. etc. Vedanta and Buddhism, etc. Then Vedanta in Practice, a curative collection of question and answers sessions with the Swami on topics of practical importance. So this is in brief the biography of our Maharaj. But above all, he is a monk of our order, that is Ramakrishna Math and Mission. That is counted much. Anyway, now I come to the topic. That is our real nature. We shall hear from him. Now this question has haunted the human beings almost from the time of the human civilizations. Many thinkers and scholars have given their opinions, which later on was formed as philosophies. What is the real nature of man? You will appreciate that this topic is no way related to the topic like you believe in God or you do not believe in God, atheism or theism. No, real nature of man. In 4th century BC, Aristotle said that man is a rational and political animal. Later on, some Western thinkers said that he is a tool-making animal, or some people said that man is an economic animal. So they could not rise above this animal stature. But in our country, our sages, our seers and rishis, they said no, man is the son of immortal bliss. That is the difference between their philosophy and our philosophy. So time has rolled on. In modern times, Sri Ramakrishna said, and he said, Sri Ramakrishna said, he echoed what the ancient rishis said, Amritasya Putra. So Sri Ramakrishna also echoed, I have seen God. I can show you also. That was his firm conviction. So a new path was evolved. So Swami Vivekananda, who is chief disciple, when the king of the Raja Ajit Singh of Khetri once at Mount Abu, probably in the 1892, once he asked Swami Vivekananda, Swamiji, what is life? What is the nature of man? He said that man is the immortal bliss. He is the son of immortal bliss. And he is trying to manifest his divinity within. And the obstacles from outside, he is trying to suppress him. This is the nature of man. This struggle will make a man real man. That is the entirely positive philosophy preached by Swami Vivekananda. So, today we shall hear in detail the topic, the real nature of man from Swami SARVAPRIYANANDA ji. Once again, I accord a very cordial welcome to all of you. We are thankful to you for your kind presence in this spiritual discourse. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Now we request Swami Shivadhayananda ji to please come to the dais to describe the book which is going to be released soon.
ओम नमो भगवते श्री राम कृष्णाय। पूजनीय महाराजगण और प्रिय भक्तवृंद, आज शुभ संध्यारे रामकृष्ण मठ भुवनेश्वर प्रकाशन विभाग तरफ पूजनीय स्वामी सर्वप्रियानंद जी महाराज करकमल तीनोटी पुस्तक उन्मोचित हो। यही अवसर में संक्षिप्त विवरणी प्रदान करने सुजोग पाई मुझे अत्यंत आनंद अनुभव करुच्ची। रामकृष्ण मठ भुवनेश्वर प्रथम ओडिया पुस्तक श्री रामकृष्ण लीलामृत 1939 मसीह स्वामी निर्वाणानंद महाराज द्वारा प्रकाशित होता। वर्तमान पुस्तक संख्या 198 पहुँची। आज तीनोटी पुस्तकर शुभ उन्मोचन हो। प्रथमटी हूँ विद्यारण्य स्वामी विरचित पंचदश अध्याय समन्वित यह अद्वैत वेदांतर एक प्रमुख प्रकरण ग्रंथ। प्रस्तुत ग्रंथटी रामकृष्ण संघर वरिष्ठ सन्यासी स्वामी बाणेशानंद जी महाराज द्वारा बंगला भाषा अनुदित होई उद्बोधन कार्यालय प्रकाशित होउछि। ओडिया पाठक मान पई स्वामी शिवध्यानानंद यार सावलील ओडिया अनुवाद प्रस्तुत करिसेंति। पूजनीय स्वामी सर्वप्रियानंद जी महाराज द्वारा प्रदत्त प्रस्तावना सुनारे सुगंधि भली यह पुस्तकटीर मान वृद्धि करिछि। पुस्तकटीर उन्मोचन अवसर में प्रकाशन विभाग तरफ मु पूजनीय महाराज प्रणाम और धन्यवाद जनाऊछि। स्वामी बाणेशानंद जी महाराज शिष्य शोभन आचार्य और आसिस्टांट प्रोफेसर पार्थसारथी दे आर्थिक सहायता जो 752 पृष्ठ विशिष्ट यह बृहत ग्रंथटी मात्र 150 टंकार सुलभ मूल्य पाठक मान उपलब्ध करा जाई परिछि। पुस्तक उन्मोचन अवसर में आम से अशेष धन्यवाद जनाऊँ। द्वितीय पुस्तकटी हूँ शांकर भाष्य सहित ईशावास्य उपनिषदर ओडिया अनुवाद। यह आम प्रकाशनर प्रथम शांकर भाष्य अनुवाद। शांकर भाष्यर मौलिकता को यथासंभव अक्षुण्ण रखी स्वामी शिवध्यानानंद यार ओडिया अनुवाद प्रस्तुत करिसेंति। संस्कृत कम जानथिबा वेदांत अनुरागी पाठक मानक पई यह बहु उपयोगी सिद्ध हेब। 48 पृष्ठ विशिष्ट पुस्तकटी 25 टंकार उपलब्ध अछि। तृतीय पुस्तकटी हूँ श्री शिव महिमा स्तोत्रर अन्वय और ओडिया अनुवाद। मूल पुस्तकटी पूजनीय स्वामी भूतेशानंद जी महाराज द्वारा बंगला भाषा प्रस्तुत होई उद्बोधन प्रकाशित होछि। स्वामी शिवध्यानानंद यार ओडिया अनुवाद प्रस्तुत करिसेंति। भुवनेश्वर मठरे प्रति सोमवार दिन श्री शिव महिमा स्तोत्र पाठ हुए। तेणु भक्त मानक पई एही पुस्तकटीर आवश्यकता बहु दिन अनुभूत हेउथिला। यार प्रकाशन यही अभाव को पूरण करिबारे सक्षम हेब। 64 पृष्ठ विशिष्ट पुस्तकटी 35 टंकार उपलब्ध अछि। पुस्तक गुड़िकर प्रूफ संशोधन रे स्वामी देवतानंद, स्वामी पूजानंद, श्री सुशांत कुमार नायक और श्रीमती उमा भट्टाचार्य से बहुमूल्य श्रम प्रदान करिसेंति। पुस्तक उन्मोचन अवसर में आम समस्त को आंतरिक धन्यवाद जनाऊँ। भक्त मैंने यही पुस्तक गुड़िकर सदुपयोग करने को अनुरोध। हरि ओम तत्सत। श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Thank you, Maharaj. Now, we request Revered Swami Sarvapriyananda Ji Maharaj, Minister in Charge, Vedanta Society of New York, to give his talk. The subject of his talk is Our Real Nature.
ଆପଣମାନେ ଜାଣିଥିବେ ସର୍ବପ୍ରିୟାନନ୍ଦଜୀ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱରର ପିଲା।
After the speech, there will be a question and answer session. So, your question and questions should be very specific, and we will take around 5 questions, not more than that. Thank you.
I have gained in height. Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. I'll request all of you to keep the mobile silent. You know, there's an airplane mode. You can put it on that airplane mode. And photographs, I know many are eager to take photographs, but now you can stop taking photographs, listen to the talk. Afterwards, during the Q&A or afterwards, you can take photographs. Agreed? Okay? So we'll concentrate on the talk. Revered Swami Atmaprabhananda Ji Maharaj, Adhyaksha of Ramakrishna Math, other revered monks, dignitaries, esteemed guests, devotees, and dear friends. It's always a delight to come back to Bhubaneswar, especially to the ashrama here, the Ramakrishna Math here. As you heard, Maharaj said that I am Bhubaneswar Pila. So, it's a great joy to be back not only in Bhubaneswar, but also especially in this ashram. Now, I know there were requests for me to speak in Oriya, but we must keep in mind there are a number of people who have come from different states. So, I'll restrict myself to English, little Sanskrit, and little bit of Oriya, but I will translate, so nobody's going to miss out anything. I just said that I grew up here in Bhubaneswar, not far from the ashrama, and I used to come to the ashrama very regularly as a kid. And one more place I went to was the library here. It's a very rich, flourishing library, and that was one of my favorite places. Among the books that I borrowed from the library, which influenced me a lot, one book was Eternal Companion, The Life and Teachings of Swami Brahmananda, the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and the Swami who established this beautiful ashrama. When he established it, 1918, at that time, imagine, not 1980, 18, 18. Bhubaneswar, there was almost nothing here. It was a small train stop and the old city of the temples there. And more or less nothing else, just jungle. And in this area there was nothing. So when he established this big ashram here, he was asked, why are you making such a big ashram here? What's here? Remember at that time British Empire, Cuttack High Court was there. Puri of course was a Tirtha Kshetra. Cuttack was important, Puri was much more important. Bhubaneswar was secondary, only for the temples, nothing else. So Swami Brahmananda replied, see the great 3 points, the great value of Bhubaneswar, the significance. He said, for the future, he said, In the future, Eita Kendra Habe. This will be the center. Center of what? At that time people did not understand. But today you see, it's the capital of Orissa and a vibrant commercial capital. Imagine, the airport is right here. This place is so valuable. At that time he had selected with what foresight, nobody knows. That's one, for the future. For the past, Swami Brahmananda, he said that this place is a very spiritual place. At one time, more than 1,500 years back, thousands of Buddhist and Jain monks, he said Buddhist monks meditated here and attained nirvana for centuries together. The things which we are now discovering, Udayagiri, Khandagiri, Ratnagiri, and Lalitagiri, and they are discovering those things now. It was a vast complex. It was a university at that time. I had gone yesterday to the new IIT Bhubaneswar, and I was so happy to see that the hostels and the academic blocks are named Ratnagiri, Udayagiri, Khandagiri. I am saying this is no coincidence. The spiritual philosophies which we talk about, books which were translated, Vedanta, Yoga, Buddhist philosophies, Jaina philosophies, they were developed by these ancient monks and philosophers who meditated, studied and debated in those mountain hill complexes 1,500 years ago. That is the intellectual capital of Odisha, in the sense of these intellectual resources. The same power and potential is there now. I was telling them that these institutes, this IIT here, the AIMS here, and others, I'm sure it is no coincidence that today, suddenly, Bhubaneswar has become one of the major educational hubs of India. It is not new. We should not be surprised. It was so 1,500 years ago. It is so again. And this is just the beginning. The future is glorious. These institutions will become, I'm sure of it, major, great centers of learning in the centuries ahead. So one book I got there in that library was the life story and teachings of Swami Brahmananda. And that really influenced me a lot. From that time, Swami Brahmananda tanku kuhaja Raja Maharaj. Mora purvashram na thila Raja. So that's why maybe a little bit of kinship I felt. But after that I became a devotee, a bhakta of Raja Maharaj, of Swami Brahmananda. And I used to go and sit in front of his room. It's another very powerful place. Temple is a powerful place, but the room of Swami Brahmananda there, where he meditated, attained samadhi so many times. It's extremely powerful vibrations. And it was a very wise decision on part of the early heads of this ashrama to keep it sacred, to keep it cut off, so that it can be preserved and its purity can be maintained. So that's a very powerful place. I still remember as a little boy sitting here in that hall in front of Swami Brahmananda's room, and Swami Lokeshwarananda ji had come. I was, I think, in class 8 or 9 at that time, class 7 or 8. Swami Lokeshwarananda, I still remember, he was sitting there. He had a very beautiful smile, sweet smile. And he smiled and he said, Raja Maharaj is still here. Those of you who can feel his presence are lucky. You are lucky if you can feel the presence of Raja Maharaj here, Swami Brahmananda. So that was one book. Another book that influenced me was the book which was released today, Panchadashi. This book. So this is the English translation. Aji Oriya translation with commentary was released today. So that is another thing that the ashrama has to be congratulated. This book was translated by Swami Swahanandaji, who was the head of our ashrama in Delhi, and then he was the head of our ashrama for many, many years in the Vedanta Society of Southern California, in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. So this book was translated into English. And I found a copy in the library. But I was very young. I was in class 8. But somehow I liked it, and I borrowed it. I still remember. I went through almost the whole book, not the whole book, but almost the whole book. କ'ଣ ବୁଝିଛି ସେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି, କିନ୍ତୁ ମୋତେ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ବହୁତ. ଏ କଥା ଗୁଡ଼ା ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଥିଲା. I loved this what the book was telling me. I don't know how much I understood at that time. So today, on the occasion of the release of this book, I was thinking maybe we will read the Panchadashi, not the whole of it, just a little bit, few verses. I will talk about this book today, just a few verses from this book. One of the great things that our acharyas discovered is that the reality of the cosmos and the reality within, the macrocosm and the microcosm, are one and the same. ଗୋଟେ କଥା ଅଛି ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ, ଯାହା ଅଛି ବ୍ରହ୍ମାଣ୍ଡେ ତାହା ଅଛି ଭାଣ୍ଡେ, ଯାହା ଭାଣ୍ଡେ ତାହା ବ୍ରହ୍ମାଣ୍ଡେ. That means whatever is there in the individual, what you can find by searching inwards, you can find the ultimate reality of the universe, which is this entire universe. The reality of that and the reality of this are one and the same reality. This was a tremendous discovery of our ancient rishis, and they put it in Mahavakyas. Tattvamasi, that you are. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Prajnanam Brahma, consciousness itself is the ultimate reality. I am Atma Brahma, this very self is the ultimate reality, Brahman. So, if you know yourself, you will realize God. That was an amazing discovery. Self-realization is equal to God realization. That is the meaning of the Mahavakyas. Sri Ramakrishna says, Manush nije ke chinte parle, Bhagavan labh kare, Bhagavan ke paye. Swami Brahmananda did not write books. But one book he wrote was the collected teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna Upadesh, Sri Ramakrishna Upadesh. It's a small book. It's available here also. It's been translated into English. Odia also, no. In Odia also it's available. What is the name of the book in Odia? Sri Ramakrishna Upadesha. Worth reading, because it's the choicest teachings of Sri Ramakrishna collected by his closest spiritual disciple. I am using the words advisedly, closest spiritual disciple. Everyone will think the closest spiritual disciple of Sri Ramakrishna is Swami Vivekananda. But no. He was his chief disciple, the chief bearer of his message. Naren lok shikkhe deve, Naren will teach the world. But his dearest was Swami Brahmananda. He considered Swami Brahmananda his own spiritual son, Manasaputra. And Swami Brahmananda did not give lectures. Swami Brahmananda did not write books, except this one. And in that book, he has collected the best, the choicest teachings according to him of Sri Ramakrishna and arranged it. Ko vyakhya nahi se, no explanation. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. And in number 1, and sentence number 1 of the first teaching, first sentence of the book is, if you know yourself, if a man knows himself, he knows God. Nijyaku chinile, Ishwar paive, Bhagavan labhava. So self-realization is God realization. Now, with that background, we will dive into Panchadashi. This book was written about 700 years ago, Vidyaranya Swami. It has 15 chapters. Each chapter in its own way encapsulates the whole of Vedanta. Recently, one Vedanta, great master of our order, great teacher of Vedanta, Swami Tattvamayanandaji, he told me, the skill of a teacher, he says Vedanta is like an ocean. The skill of the teacher is to condense the ocean into a drop and to expand the drop into the ocean. Sagar, bindu re aane deve, bindu to sagar bahar kar deve. That is the skill of the teacher. And in this book, every chapter, it condenses the whole of the Vedanta in a new way. And there are 15 chapters here. But we will read just a little bit from the first chapter. What are we trying to know? Our real nature. Why are we trying to know it? Because self-realization is God realization. Manusya nijako chinile, Ishwar labh karive. So we want to know who we are. And what Vidyaranya Swami does here in the first chapter is a masterful performance. I call it a performance. Why? What he does is, in only a few verses, 7 verses, he demonstrates that you are Brahman. How? Not by quoting Upanishad, not by quoting Bhagavad Gita. He demonstrates on the basis of only logic and experience. Look at your own experience, anubhuti, And here is the chain of reasoning. Follow this chain of reasoning. You will realize you are Brahman. Then you open your Upanishad Gita, you will see what you have found, what we have found. You will see that is exactly what is called Brahma in the Upanishads, in the Bhagavad Gita. So a wonderful demonstration. Extremely analytical, extremely logical. The logic, reasoning which he has shown 700 years ago, it stands unblemished even today. Even today I can read it out in any forum in the world, in philosophy departments, to scientists. And they are amazed at the logic. They are amazed at the precision of the analysis. So this is what we will take a look at, what Vidyaranya Swami says. Who are we? Who am I? According to Vidyaranya Swami. No need to believe anything. No need to even sit in yogasana. No need for all of that. Just analysis. Take a look at our own life, step by step, see how he demonstrates. It is subtle, so one has to follow carefully. I will read only from verse number 3 to verse number 10. The main arguments are from 3 to 10. Finished. In 3 to 10, 7 verses, 8 verses more or less. The whole argument has been presented, and it's an amazing performance. Let's see. Verse number 3 from Panchadashi, chapter 1. Shabdasparshadayo vedya vaichitradyagare prithak tato vibhakta tat samvid aikya rupatna bhidyate. What does it mean? Look at our experience, he says. Which experience? Any experience. Our day-to-day experience, daily experience, quotidian experience. What happens? What do we experience? We are seeing, we are hearing, we are smelling, tasting, touching. We are thinking, we are imagining, we are enjoying, we are suffering. This is our daily experience. Now he says, in all our experiences, the objects of experience are different from each other. Look at the flowers here. One is a white flower, there is a green leaf, there is a red flower. They are all different from each other. Colors are different. Then sound. We heard a beautiful hymn sung by the students earlier. Now you are hearing speech. Different from each other. Various kinds of sound. And then touch. Something is cold, something is hard, something is soft. Touch. So he says, Shabda Sparshadayo Vedyaha, the objects which we know, the objects which we experience throughout our day, they are all different from each other. Vaichitriyat, they are different. And therefore, the objects are different, our experiences are also different. Seeing something is different from hearing something. Hearing something is different from touching something. Thinking is different from sensory experience. So we have a range of experiences throughout our day. He says, so what? But notice, there is something common throughout, from beginning, from morning till evening, night when we fall asleep. One thing is common. One thing does not change. All of these experiences are lit up, illumined, experienced by consciousness. When we are hearing, we are conscious. When we are seeing, we are conscious. When we are tasting, we are conscious. When we are thinking, we are conscious. When we are happy, we are conscious. And when we are sad, we are conscious. And it is the same consciousness throughout the day. Objects are different. They come and go. Our experiences are different. They arise and subside. But the consciousness remains the same. Please check and see. He's inviting us. Dekhantu. Amar anubhuti bhinna bhinna prakarar. Kintu sei anubhuti jo prakashare hochi, jo chaitanyare hochi, se chaitanya kintu ekarupa. Aikya rupyatna bhidyate. The consciousness is of the same nature. Consciousness does not change. The objects of experience change, and therefore our experiences are different. But it's like the light is shining. Now different people come and go. Different objects are presented here. They are all illumined by the same light. The objects are changing. People are coming and going, but the light is constant and shining. That's an example. Drishtanta. So consciousness does not change. Our experiences are many, consciousness is one. The objects of experience are, what is object of experience? Rupa, rasa, shabda, sparsha. And the thoughts internally, thoughts, feelings, emotions, they keep changing. Aikarupyat na bhidyate. Silence the mobile. Yes. Tato vibhakta tat samvid. Different from the objects of experience. Different from what we see, different from what we hear, different from what we touch, different from what we think also, different from what we feel also. The consciousness by itself is not different, it does not change. Ekarupyat, it is always consciousness only. At this point, someone may argue, why are you saying that consciousness does not change? Suppose consciousness changes. Suppose consciousness changes. Now I will ask the question, Vidyaranya Swami will ask the question, if consciousness changes, is that a known change or an unknown change? Are you able to know the change in consciousness? If you say, yes, I can know the change in consciousness, then it is not a change in consciousness, it is a change in some object of consciousness. Whatever is known is an object of consciousness. So, a change, if it is known, it becomes an object. Therefore, it is not in consciousness, it is in some objective entity. Do you see the logic here? If you say there is an unknown change in consciousness, that no need to say that. If the change in consciousness is not known, not knowable, why speak about it? If it is knowable, it is an object. Therefore, you cannot talk about any change in consciousness. I cannot tell you what a revolutionary insight this is. Today, consciousness studies is a hot subject across the world. What is consciousness? Gobeshana chalchi. Chaitanya, Chetana, Mane Kono. Go to Aschi. What is the source of consciousness? So there's a great inquiry going on across the world. Consciousness studies is a hot subject. I was mentioning in IIT Bhubaneswar yesterday, one of the leading consciousness neuroscientists of the world, Christoph Koch, and one of the leading philosophers of the world, David Chalmers. David Chalmers has coined a term called hard problem of consciousness. Hard problem of consciousness is, we think, scientists, doctors, physiologists, materialists, they say brain is producing consciousness. But the question is how? How is an object producing the subject? If you actually scan the brain, if you actually observe the brain, you will never find consciousness. All you will find is tiny electrical activity in the neurons. How those tiny electrical activities, how the neurochemical activities of the brain, how is it transformed into consciousness? Nobody knows. By one count, there are 325 theories of what consciousness is in the world today. So, he has coined the term hard problem of consciousness. And in a debate in 1998-99, Christoph Koch and David Chalmers in New York University, Christoph Koch said that give us 25 years, we will prove how brain is producing consciousness. This is called promissory materialism. We brain consciousness, but give us time. We will find it out. Anusandhan chalchi. The way neuroscience is progressing, in 25 years, we will be able to explain how brain is producing consciousness. And David Chalmers, the philosopher, he had said that impossible, because you are making a category mistake. Your neuroscience may progress, but it will not be able to explain how brain is producing consciousness. 25 years passed. New York, 2024, somebody reminded David Chalmers and Christoph Koch, guys, 25 years has passed. Who won the bet? The challenge was there. So they had a meeting last year, in 2024. And the very beginning of that debate, Christoph Koch said, we are unable to explain consciousness. Neuroscience has progressed a lot in 25 years, but we have no idea, no way of explaining consciousness as yet. So this is the thing. Consciousness is not an object. Consciousness is, everything is an object to consciousness. You might say, why is it so difficult to trace what consciousness is? Because all of them, Vidyaranya Swami will say, all of these neuroscientists, they are trying to find an object called consciousness. Whatever object you find, brain, neurochemical activity, electrical activity in the neurons, they are all objects to consciousness. Consciousness is the one which experiences them. This insight, the distinction between consciousness and brain, and indeed between consciousness and mind, this is something 700 years ago Vidyaranya Swami is saying. Tato vibhakta tat samvit. He is using a new word for consciousness, samvit. Another interesting thing, I tell them in the West, notice how many words Indian languages, Sanskrit has for consciousness. Chit, chiti, chetana, chaitanya, bodha, samvit, so many words. This is something that they investigated so much for centuries, and many of them right here in Khandagiri, Lalitgiri and all those places, Ratnagiri. All right. So, throughout our day, many experiences we have. Experiences come and go. Consciousness is constant. Next, he says, what happens at night? We fall asleep. We fall asleep and then we dream. In the next verse number 4. Tatha swapnyatra vedyam tu nasthiram jagare sthiram tadbhedo tastayo samvid ekarupana bhidyate. In dreams, so many dreams we have. But consciousness is constant. The objects of the dreams come and go. But the consciousness which experienced the waking world is also experiencing the dream world. Vidyaranya Swami makes a concession. Sometimes we accuse Vedantins. You are trying to reduce the Jagrat to Swapna. You are equating dream and waking. Vidyaranya Swami says, no, dream and waking are different. In one difference he just gives. The dream world is more stable. When you go to sleep, same bed, same bedroom. When you wake up, same bed, same bedroom, same body. But dreams, every dream is different. So he says, nasthiram. Swapne nasthiram. They are not stable. It comes and goes. Jagare sthiram. The objects are more stable in the waking state. But he says, that's not my point. My point is the consciousness which experiences this waking world is the same consciousness which experiences the dream world, the Swapna Jagat. Consciousness continues. Imagine the vast difference between waking and dreaming. This is our waking world. When we fall asleep, this world disappears from us. Our body is also not, that we are lying on the bed, we don't experience. A dream world appears. And in the dream, we are experiencing an entirely different world. The body you are experiencing in the dream is a projected body in the mind. It's not the physical body lying on the bed. All that has changed, but the consciousness is constant. Same consciousness which experiences this is also experiencing dream. Then what happens? Deep sleep. In Sanskrit, it is called sushupti. Gavir nidra. No waking is there, no dream is there. Everything is silent, still. Verse number 5. Supto thetasya saushupta tamo bodho bhavet smritihi saja vabuddha vishaya avabuddham tattadatamah. Gavir nidra, sushupti. Now, here is the fun. Generally, in deep sleep, we think there is no consciousness. Our general understanding of deep sleep is, it's unconscious. I did not know anything. Those who will criticize Vedanta will say, so where is your consciousness now? In waking you have consciousness, no doubt. In dreaming some kind of consciousness is there, no doubt. In deep sleep consciousness is gone. In general anesthesia consciousness is gone. So this consciousness is nothing very great. It comes and goes. Here Vidyaranya Swami is saying, deep sleep is not an absence of consciousness. It is the consciousness of absence. Just think about it. All these objects are there, consciousness is experiencing them, and therefore we have experiences, anubhava, of various objects. In dreams also, the mind projects various objects and we have anubhava of various objects. But suppose all the objects are removed. Why will you say consciousness is removed? You know, in deep space, when you look out into space, right now, when you go outside, you look up, it will appear dark, black, dark. But it is full of light. Sunlight is streaming through space. If a comet goes through it, Dhumketu, you will see it is shining. If a satellite goes in the even time, you'll see it is sparkling in the sky. That means there is light there, but no object to reflect light. If you introduce an object, it will start reflecting. So light is there, but it seems to be dark. In deep sleep also, Vedanta says, consciousness is there, but there is nothing to experience. The absence of objects, Vidyaranya Swami calls tamaha, darkness, ignorance. Nothing is seen. That one itself is experienced. That absence of objects is experienced. Avabuddham tat tada tamaha. How do you know? Is this all kapola kalpitam? You are all imagining these things? No, we are speaking from experience. When we wake up, we say, I slept happily. I did not experience anything. I did not know anything. I slept happily. Now, how did we say this? To say anything about the past, we must have experienced it. Smriti, memory. Memory requires some kind of experience from the past. He says, Sacha avabuddha vishaya tamo bodho bhavet smritihi. Sacha avabuddha vishaya. That I did not experience anything, this is also an experience. Otherwise, he would have never said. Suppose there was no experience in Sushupti, then what would have happened? I would say, I was awake, I fell asleep, I dreamt, and I woke up. But there was this period of dreamless sleep. Nothing was there. How am I saying that? That is also an experience. Recently, I was at Harvard Medical School, one of the leading institutes, very impressive. I've never seen that earlier, first time I saw. Very impressive institution. So many hospitals, so many research institutions, so many teaching institutions. The gentleman who had invited me, he's an Indian doctor. He's the head of Harvard's anesthesia department, anesthesiologist. So he was presenting, in his presentation, he said, earlier we used to think in anesthesia, general anesthesia, there is no consciousness. But now we are beginning to study, lot of brain activities are going on in general anesthesia also. And there is some possibility of a basal level of consciousness. He used the word, there is an implicit memory of deep sleep. I was immediately thinking, today in Harvard Business School, Harvard Medical School, you are saying under general anesthesia, there is an implicit memory of the experience of general anesthesia. 700 years ago, Vidyaranya Swami, tamo bodho bhavet smritihi, there is a memory of tamaha, darkness. Of course, there is a link from the name of the doctor, Dr. Bala, and Vidyaranya Swami, more or less same area of India they must have come from. So, maybe same lineage is there. So this idea, that deep sleep also, consciousness continues. Deep sleep also, consciousness continues. This, I mentioned it in AIMS, New Delhi, this idea, this reference. And the director of AIMS smiled. He said, that doctor is a student of AIMS, Delhi, who is now the head of anesthesia in Harvard University. Tamo bodho bhavet smritihi. Then he says, 6th verse. Sabodho vishayad bhinno nabodhat swapna bodhavat evam sthana trayepyeka samvittadvad dinantare. That consciousness which illumines the darkness in deep sleep is distinct from the darkness. It is the illuminer of darkness, it's distinct from the darkness. And it is the same consciousness which was there in the waking, it's the same consciousness which was there in dreaming, it's the same consciousness which continues in deep sleep. So consciousness does not come and go. Objects come and go. Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, they come and go. They are not states of consciousness, they are states of the mind. They come and go. It is the mind which wakes up. It is the mind which dreams. It's the mind which goes into deep sleep. And then again it wakes up. Samvid tadvad dinantare. So this is the story of one day. Waking, dreaming, sleeping. What will be the story tomorrow? He says same story tomorrow. Dinantare, next day. And then a beautiful verse comes, one of the most beautiful verses in the whole book. Masabda yuga kalpeshu gatagamyeshu nekadha naudeti nastametyeka samvid esha swayam prabha. Such a poetic. All right, little aside here. All of this book, 15 chapters, poetry, all shlokas, poetry in verse. Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses in verse. Poetry. To do such philosophy in poetry, imagine the command over language and precision of thought. I'll tell you a little funny story. One year I got the opportunity to study, as Maharaj said, at Harvard University. Said so assignment dothile, the professors would give an assignment at the end of the course. So one professor, he was a master of Buddhism. He was teaching us Tibetan Buddhist philosophy. End course assignment, 25-page essay. And as usual, students are the same everywhere. Immediately students, it's too much, please take a काम करो तो 25 pages too much to write. So he said, all right, 12-page essay, but then you have to write in poetry. It has to be one poem, 12 pages. Everybody is saying, how can you write in poetry, philosophy? And then he said, then think, all these Buddhists who are writing in Sanskrit verses, they all were writing in shlokas. All these big, difficult books which we are studying today, they are all written in poetry. He says, Samvid Esha Swayam Prabha. What does he mean? Day after day, consciousness is constant. The body is changing from babyhood to childhood to teenage to middle age to old age. Ultimately it will die. Consciousness is constant. The mind is constantly changing. Waking, dreaming, sleeping, again waking, dreaming, sleeping, enjoying, suffering, maturing. Imagine your mind when you are in school. Today we had gone to the school here. Science exhibition. We have all gone through that stage. We have gone through class 1, 2, 3, 4 up to class 10. How much change in our mind from class 1 to class 10? Tremendous change. But consciousness is the same, he's saying. Body is changing, mind is changing, consciousness is the same. And then he says, as the months go by, Masa, as the years go by, same consciousness. The world is changing, body is changing, mind is changing. You are the same consciousness. And he says, as the centuries go by, we will say, century, we will die. No. Body will die. That consciousness which is experiencing the living body will experience the death of the body. Maybe will experience Swargaloka, then will experience the birth of a new baby. Will continue. We will continue. I should not say such a thing, but I'll still say it. What I'm saying is, we will live through the death of our body. And when that day comes, you will say, the body is dead, but I am still here. Say, Maharaj, theek koi thale. The monk was right. I will survive the death of the body also. We do not die. And he says, Juga chali jiva, kalpa chali jiva, lakhya varsha, eons will pass, ages will pass. Naudeti nastameti. Is given a comparing with the sun. There is no sunrise, no sunset. This is one sun. Consciousness is such a sun which neither rises nor sets, is constantly shining. Samvid Esha Swayam Prabha, Swaprakasha. It is illumining itself, and revealing the world. That consciousness you are. I am this person. No, that's the body. I am this mind. And that's just a collection of thoughts and ideas and memories. Beyond this body and mind, right now, well within our experience, we are consciousness. Papare kaun hela? So this continuous existence of consciousness, unchanged existence of consciousness, this continuous existence in Sanskrit is called Sat. Sat. And this continuous consciousness, the consciousness itself is called Chit. So I am Sat Chit. Before this analysis, I am the body. I am this mind. I am this person, this fellow Sarvapriyananda. After this analysis, Vidyaranya Swami is saying, if you have understood it, be honest. say, I am Samvit. Experiencing body-mind of Sarvapriyananda, but I am Samvit. I am consciousness, immortal consciousness. I neither come and go, I am not born, I do not die. Then what happens? Next. We are almost finished. 2 verses. Yam atma parananda parapremaspadam yataha mana bhuvam hi bhuyasam iti prematmanikshate. Acha. We have heard another thing, Satchidananda. So I am supposed to be Ananda also. So how is this Ananda? Here Vidyaranya Swami shows his genius. You have never heard such interesting arguments. He says, you are Ananda. How do we know that we are Ananda? Bliss, happiness. He says, when something gives happiness to us, we try to keep it. And if we don't have it, we try to get it. If something does not give happiness to us, we try to get rid of it. Or we don't chase it. When someone likes a new Apple phone, iPhone, goes and buys it. I want it. It will give me happiness. Kichi din pare nua model asigala. Apple phone next. Someone told me iPhone 17. So new iPhone has come, then the Purana Jota, and not giving me happiness anymore. I want to trade it, return it and get new iPhone. So what gives me happiness, I keep. And what does not give me happiness, I try to get rid of. Reverse it. That means the things which I want to keep and accumulate, they are giving me happiness. That's why I want it. That's why I want to keep it. Things which are not giving me, which I want to get rid of, it means it's not giving me happiness. Now he says, look at yourself. Everybody says, let me live, let me be. Because we think we are the body, we want the body to live. Let me exist. Let it never be that I don't exist. We want to keep ourselves. We never want to get rid of ourselves. If I want to keep something, it's because it's giving me happiness. So I want to keep myself. At no point do I want to get rid of myself. By logic, Vidyaranya Swami says, that means I am always a source of my own happiness. I am never a source of my own unhappiness. At this point, if you have followed, you will be thinking, what about suicide? He says, the point being, that feeling I want to kill myself is because of external factors, not because of myself. In America, there was a problem before Trump. Someone had taken huge loans for studying. Now the same thing is here. People are taking. Here, of course, parents are taking the loans for kids. There, the kids have to take the loans and return it. So it's a big load. Many people are struggling there. Finally, and so people are saying, finally government came and said, we will forgive your loans. So the kids were very happy. Now I want to kill myself. I cannot return my loans, pay back my loans. I want to die. Then government comes and says, no, you don't have to pay, but the government will pay the loans. Good. Very good. No, you wanted to die, what happened? No, I don't want to die anymore. So the problem was with the loan, not with myself. With myself, I am always a source of happiness. I always want to exist. I never want to stop existing. That means I am a source of continuous happiness. I am not only a source of continuous happiness. Vidyaranya Swami says, you are a source of maximum happiness. How? Tat prematmarthamanyatra naivam manyartha atmanah atas tat paramam tena param anandatatmanah. We have to understand the logic here. Very interesting logic. He says, if something is loved for the sake of something else, then that one is loved more than the first thing. What does it mean? And you love the toys of which the children play with. Whom do you love more, the toy or the child? You will love the child. The toy is loved for the sake of the child. Who is loved more, toy or child? Child is loved more. If you love something for the sake of another thing, you love that thing more. This is what he is saying. Example. This example I'll share with you. There was a young man who had a very nice job, multinational job, with nice pay packet. He said, I love my job. It is not really for the pay. I love my job. Then somebody said to him, you love your job? Yes. Then do the job, you will not get the pay. No, Sita kente hava. I need the pay. Okay, I'll give you a choice. Either you will do the job or you will get the money. Which one will you choose? You can do the job without the money, or you can get just the money, you don't have to do the job. I will choose that. So, what do you love more, job or money? I don't doubt you love the job, but you love the money more. Acha, money you are loving. But suppose I give you, say you got the money, but you are not allowed to spend it. You just keep the money. No. Money means I have to do something with it. I'll spend it, invest it. Just money is of no use to me. All right, you are allowed to spend it, but you will not spend it for yourself or your family. No, I have to spend it for my family. For them only I will spend. So I love my family more than the things I can buy. I love the things I can buy more than the money. I love the money more than the job. Then he was told, all right, you can buy things for your family, but it will not be your family, some random family. No. It has to be my family. Ultimately back to myself. Job is loved for the sake of money. Money is loved for the sake of the things it purchases. Those things are loved for the sake of the family. Family is loved for my family. So he says, what is loved for the sake of another thing, and that other thing is loved more. Ultimately, everything is loved for the sake of the self. It sounds selfish, but this Atma is not the body-mind. It's something beyond body-mind. So, everything is loved for the sake of the self. The self is not loved for the sake of anything else. Therefore, maximum love is for the self. So, but we love things which give us happiness. With maximum love is for the self means the self gives me maximum happiness. He says, Paramanandata Atmanaha. So, Atma is the source, self is the source of maximum happiness, continuous happiness. So what? Then final, 10th verse, finished. Ittam satchit parananda atma yukta tatha vidham param brahma tayor aikyam shrutyanteshu upadishyate. He says, yuktya, by logic I have showed you are consciousness. You are immortal and you are the source of highest bliss. In Sanskrit, this is called Sat Chid Ananda. I have shown by logic. He is forcing us. He said, yes, you have shown by logic. And by experience. It is strange for us because we don't think in that way. But that does not mean, even if I don't get it, that is no argument. You have to give argument to cut it down. And there is no argument possible here. The logic is tight. Once I was traveling in Europe, there was this lady in the seat next to me. She was a neuroscientist from England. And she asked me, she saw this dress, please explain your religion to me. So I explained this logic to her. Now, her answer is very interesting. Said, I am not convinced by what you said, but I can't find a flaw in your argument. That I am consciousness. But argument dele, I can't find any gap in it, any flaw in it. It's watertight, it's neat, it's forensic, analytical, extraordinary chain of arguments. And in Vedanta you will find again and again such things. It's a wonderful performance. Now he says, please open your Upanishad. Sutyanta, Upanishad, Vedanta, books. Oh, please open. What will you find? Satchid Ananda is Brahma. You say, but I am Satchid Ananda. You have just shown. Yes, you are Brahma. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma. It is demonstrated now. Instead of saying, look, Upanishad says you are Brahma, therefore you are Brahma. No. He has demonstrated by logic and experience that you are this immortal consciousness which is bliss itself. This is the Satchidananda talked about in Upanishad. Demonstrated. I mean, in our school we used to read geometry proof kariki, QED. Co-error demonstrated. That is so proved, hence proved. What a beautiful, beautiful sequence. If you know yourself, Thakur says, Manush nije ke chinte parle, Ishwar ke paye, Bhagavan labh kare. Self-knowledge is God knowledge. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishnaarpanamastu. Thank you very much for a very nice, very wonderful audience. Listening with so much patience. So we'll have a short Q&A. Kemtya kariva? Can someone stand with the microphone here instead of running around with the microphone? Is samnare jodi microphone achi? Come here in front. Maharaj microphone neiki aschanti. Apna eti line karantu. Ei samnare AL re line karantu. And the ladies maybe at that side, if someone can go there, aguta microphone neiki. Besi prashno nuho. Just 3 or 4, that's it. Se cameraman pachara ke asibeni setiki. And the ladies there, se baa pate chal jao, ekdam last ko. Ladies can come there, yes. Separ jane jao. Dori jauchi. So he is there. You can see him there. You raise your hand. Come there. Please tell us your name and ask the question.
My name is Dr. Biren Banerjee, and I have been following you for a long time. So you mentioned few days back that Professor Arvind Chakraborty about anything which objects consciousness.
Arindam Chakraborty.
Arindam Chakraborty, yes. Anything which objects consciousness is an object.
Yes.
So here, if we have the experience for several lives, the experiences are coming from several generations, maybe hundreds of them. So where does this experience go? Like, is the consciousness forgetting it, or is consciousness not registering it, or not able to express?
Are you asking a question about memory or deep sleep?
Deep sleep.
Question of deep sleep. Can you rephrase that? What exactly is the question?
So you are sleeping at a where there is absence of your experience.
Absence of experience of absence, not absence of
experience of absence. So here, so this experience of absence, there must be something. It is not completely absent.
Yes, that's true. That's why Vidyaranya calls it tamaha. It's a darkness. It's the Vedantic, the traditional Vedantic answer will be it is ajnana or avidya, ignorance. So there, I do not know any object. I do not know myself also. This blankness, this is experience. This is the experience. This is the object of experience in deep sleep.
So is it absolute?
Is it?
Absolute.
Absolute in what sense? What do you mean by absolute?
The absence of this experience, the experience of this absence. Is this absence absolute?
Oh, no, it is not absolute.
Yeah.
The absolute is the one which experiences that.
Right.
Now, absolute means ultimate reality. In fact, this is discussed in the text Vedanta Sara. In deep sleep, nothing is experienced. So the Shunyavadi, Buddhist Shunyavadi says, that is the ultimate reality. So our real nature is nothing. I mean, that's not the real argument of the Buddhist, but anyway, it is posited as the argument of the Buddhist. No, that absence is also experienced by consciousness. I had a great philosophy teacher. He was a disciple of Nirodharan Chakraborty. He was a disciple of Swami Vijnananandaji. He used to come and teach us in brahmacharis in training center. So I was studying Shunyavad as a brahmachari, and I was very convinced by the logic. Ultimately, there is nothing. Shunyam, 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 sarvam shunyam. Some of the other acharyas used to call, when I came to the class as brahmachari, say, hey, Shunyavad is coming, Shunyavadi is coming, Shunyavadi asche. So Nirodh Babu, he was a disciple of Swami Abhedanandaji, and he was a philosophy professor, retired from Jadavpur University, I think. So once I asked him, he was a short man with big eyes, very dramatic teacher. I asked him, ultimately it is Shunyam. And then he said, Maharaj, Shunno ke dekhche ke janche Shunno ke? Is it a known Shunyam or unknown Shunyam? If it's an unknown Shunyam, how can you say that ultimately it is Shunyam? If it's a known Shunyam, then the Shunyam is also an object to consciousness. Yes. We'll come to you next.
আমি সমীর কুমার দাস,
Yes.
বাংলা থেকে এসেছি। আমি একটু বাংলাতেই বলে দিচ্ছি।
বলুন।
আমার অনেক দিনের জনমবোধের সাধনা আপনাকে দেখবো কাছ থেকে, আজ আমার পূর্ণ হলো।
ভেরি গুড।
আমার একটা জিনিস জানার, এই যে চৈতন্য ব্যাপারটা বুঝতে পারছি, মানে আপনি যেটা বললেন বুঝতে পারছি। অনেক দিনেরই আমার প্রশ্ন, সব মানুষের চৈতন্য এক, এটাও বুঝলাম, কিন্তু মানুষ যখন মরে যাচ্ছে তখন ওগুলো কি এক জায়গায় হয়ে যাচ্ছে? না ওইটা কি হচ্ছে মানে মৃত্যুর পর চৈতন্যর কি অবস্থা বা সেটা আবার
কিছুই
ফিরেও
নয়।
আসে?
এখন চৈতন্য যেমনটি আছে মৃত্যুর পর তেমনটি থাকবে। মৃত্যু মানে কি? শরীরের মৃত্যু। তো পরিষ্কার কথা, কি মরে? শরীরটাই মরে। মন কি মরে গেছে? উই হ্যাভ নো এভিডেন্স অফ দ্যাট। আর চৈতন্য মরে গেছে তো দূরের কথা। সো ফ্রম বেদান্তিক পার্সপেক্টিভ, যে মেটেরিয়ালিস্ট পার্সপেক্টিভ, যে বলছে যা জড়বাদী, তারা বলছে ব্রেন থেকেই চৈতন্য আসছে। তাহলে যদি ব্রেন ইজ ডিস্ট্রয়েড, বডি ইজ ডিস্ট্রয়েড, দেন দেয়ার উইল বি নো কনসিয়াসনেস এট অল। শেষ হয়ে গেল, মৃত্যু মানে সব শেষ। একজন আমেরিকান প্রফেসর বোঝাচ্ছেন, তার টেবিলের সামনে কোকাকোলার বোতল আছে। তো কোকাকোলা যেমন ফিজিং হয়, একটা ফুরফুর বেরোচ্ছে, গ্যাস বেরোচ্ছে, বলছে ইউ আর নাথিং, উই আর নাথিং, কনসিয়াসনেস ইজ নাথিং বাট দ্য ফিজ ইন দ্য বটল। কিছুক্ষণ পরে আপনি ট্যাপ চিপি খুলে রাখুন, সব গ্যাস বেরিয়ে যাবে। সেরকম আমাদের শরীরে কিছুদিন পরে মরে যাবে, ব্যাস সব কনসিয়াসনেস শেষ, কোনো ব্যাপার নেই। এটা বাইরের থেকে দেখছি আমরা, কিন্তু যে অনুভব করছে তার কি অবস্থা হলো সেটা আমরা বুঝতে পারছি না। তো ব্রেন কনসিয়াসনেস প্রডিউস করছে, এইটাই তো এখন আলোচ্য বিষয়। ইজ ব্রেন প্রডিউসিং কনসিয়াসনেস? দিস ইজ দ্য হার্ড প্রবলেম অফ কনসিয়াসনেস। আপনি গুগল করে দেখবেন, বিরাট এই নিয়ে তর্ক বিতর্ক চলছে। ঠিক আছে, দ্য লেডি দেয়ার, প্লিজ টেল us your name and ask the question.
I am Dr. Papia Sengupta, and I am blessed to have seen you here personally. আমার কোয়েশ্চেন অনেকটাই সিমিলার। আমি বলছি হোয়াট এভার লজিক you have given, I have been following all your lectures in YouTube also. Everything is possible only when I am alive and I am able to reason it out,
Yes.
as you just now explained in so many beautiful verses. But what happens when I die? Then I cannot explain myself or my existence or my consciousness. How do I search myself at that time? Now I am able to say
Yes.
Aham Brahmasmi.
Yes, correct. So 2 points. What happens when I die? Also, all these things you are saying, all this logic, it depends on the mind. When the mind is there functioning and also functioning properly, an immature child's mind cannot grasp it. An animal's mind cannot grasp it. It's only when the mind is inhabiting a human body with a human brain and nervous system that's developed enough to do all this. Okay, good. So 2 questions. One is a body question, one is a mind question. What happens when we die? The body dies. Not only Vedanta, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, Buddhist, Jaina, Sikh, Christian, Muslim, all religions in the world have one thing in common. Death of the body is not your death. If death of the body is your death, then it's no religion at all. Religion is not possible. Religion is possible, any religion is possible, that something survives death. The particular format, the paradigm is different in different religions. But survival beyond death, a post-mortem survival, it's common to all religions. So death is death of the body. It is no big deal. We are masters at dying. We have died, if Vedanta is true, we have died many times in the past. We are experts. So nothing will happen to us at death. We will leave this body and go on. As Sri Krishna says, it is like changing clothes. Old clothes, discard, put on new clothes. Like that. Not as easy as that, but anyway. That's one. Second, the mind. You're saying, but you're awake now. You're an educated person. You have got a doctorate. You have studied so much. And now when you study Vedanta, you understand it. But that's only depends entirely on the mind. If the mind is not functioning, what will I do? This is the question. Good question. But notice, it is in the mind, but it is not about the mind. What is all this about? About consciousness. According to Vedanta, consciousness is not the mind also. Same logic. Anything that you experience is an object. Do you experience your own mind? Of course. I experience the thoughts in the mind. Therefore, even the absence of the mind, suppose mind is not there, that state is also experienced by consciousness. That's called deep sleep. And that same question which Professor Nirodharan Chakravarti asked, Shunno ke ke dakhe? Who experiences? Suppose nothing is there. That nothing is also experienced by consciousness. So consciousness is independent of the mind. Yes, you need the mind to do this vichara. That's why it is said human birth. Shankaracharya says human birth, a desire for mukti, the presence of the Guru, yes, Sadguru, the presence of a great teacher, spiritual teacher, and the desire for moksha and a human birth, these are most valuable. That's why we have this capacity now. But remember, suppose you don't have the capacity. People ask me, what about people who have got coma? What about people who have got autism or Parkinson's and Alzheimer's? What about them? I was just telling you a simple thing. I don't know if it's good to say it or not. I saw one interesting thing about Switzerland. I visited a few times. One of the wealthiest countries in the world. Beautiful, stunningly beautiful country. And it's also fast becoming an old age home. One person who volunteers, who takes care of, he's himself 60 plus, but he takes care of older people. He says, Maharaj, in this country, because we don't have people to take care of the elderly, not enough people are there, all very rich, super rich people. In the evening, we leave, we lock the doors of their houses. They cannot get out of the house. This is the condition. So, body, old age, I cannot do any Vedanta. So your question is, we are all dependent on the mind. Yes, Vedanta or any sadhana is dependent on the mind. But the Atman, let the body have Parkinson's, let there be Alzheimer's or coma, whatever it is. Atman is perfect. Consciousness is always the same. It will reveal the problems in the body mind, but as consciousness, you are perfectly all right. So this is the claim of and you are not the mind. See, why we feel anxious about it? We identify very closely with the mind. Therefore, it's, I am doing Vedanta, which is that I mind. The Vedanta which is done in the mind, it points to you, the consciousness, which is beyond the mind. You are beyond the mind. You are not the mind. This is the point. Yes. Yeah. Swami Abhedanji's book, as Maharaj pointed out, one of the most popular books, Life Beyond Death. It's everywhere. Even today, more than 100 years later, it's one of the best sellers. Everybody is curious what happens life beyond death.
Pranam Swamiji, my name is Satyajit. My question was on Brahman and the hard problem of matter, not consciousness,
yes,
but matter. So in physics, there is this principle called the conservation principle of energy and energy mass. That energy cannot be created, it only transmutes into different forms and so on and so forth. So are they basically hinting at Brahman?
Are they?
Is modern physics basically hinting at Brahman?
Ending in Brahman.
Hinting at Brahman.
Hinting at Brahman. I think so. I think so. They will not agree, but when you look at what Sir Roger Penrose is saying, what the Nobel Prizes are being awarded for, this non-locality, the incommensurability of general relativity with quantum theory, the very vast and the very small. It is like we have got two physics now, and they don't match mathematically. So how to solve that mystery? Someone like Sir Roger Penrose is saying, I don't understand matter. I don't want to. He says, I am uncomfortable being called a materialist because you see, I don't understand matter. And he says, the hard problem of consciousness and this problem in physics, according to him, they are linked. I was thinking from a Vedantic perspective, hard problem of consciousness, tvam, you, that's our nature. Hard problem, the problem in physics about quantum theory and general relativity, that is the nature of this universe, tat, that. And if the two are the same problem, tattvamasi, we are seeing the same thing all over again on a grand scale. That's why I like Swami Vivekananda's, that the questions were ancient questions, but we must ask it again in our time. It's not that they did not find the answers. And the answers are there. In Upanishads, 700 years ago in Panchadasha, answers are there. Same answer. But we must find he says the answers gather strength as the centuries roll down. So what he did, what the Upanishads have found out, you are Satchidananda. What Vidyaranya Swami, 700 years ago, he provided this wonderful logic, philosophy. Today we can provide neuroscience, quantum theory, and make that answer rich. New dimensions, AI, new dimensions will open up. These questions were not asked in ancient times. These new ways of understanding the same truth. So it's great to ask the same question again, great to reevaluate those answers in our own time. It's not see, people might say that all this has been done already. Why are you again asking the same question? Why are you bringing in science and But Swami Vivekananda wanted it. You will rediscover the glory of this answer, Tattvamasi in Upanishads, today in 21st century in a new way which was not even thought about in ancient times. So that's very good. We should do it. Yes. Speak into the microphone. Huh? Yes.
I'm Swati Rath, and my question is awareness different from consciousness? If yes, then what is their relation and
Yes.
how it is different?
Okay. When I'm using the English words, English does not have precise terms. The Sanskrit terms are very precise. But in English, we are limited to using words like consciousness and awareness, what you find in the English dictionary. Actually, this question of pure consciousness, there is no term for it in English at all. For chit or bodha or samvit, there is no term for it in English. So you have to use pure consciousness. And awareness and consciousness, I am using it indistinguishably. But you can separate it if you want to. Then awareness will mean, or consciousness will mean that consciousness which we have right now. Right now we are conscious. This consciousness is what is meant by consciousness. And you can say awareness is equal to the pure consciousness or chit. That's why you will understand sometimes Nisargadatta Maharaj, he makes a difference. He says at death consciousness will go away. You get shocked. Vedanta is saying consciousness survives death. He means this reflected consciousness, this empirical consciousness which we have. Pure awareness or being or Satchidananda will remain. So we can make a difference, but the English words awareness and consciousness are imprecise, ambiguous. So you have to be careful how we use them. You can use in this way. Consciousness, if consciousness means reflected consciousness, chidabhasa, that will not be available when, for a time being, when you go into say deep sleep, or for a time right after death, the chidabhasa will not function. But Chaitanya, the samvit, will always be there in that sense.
In broader sense, it is consciousness. In subtle sense, it is awareness.
You can use like that. I am using like this. But that's not the dictionary meaning, and that's not the Vedantic meaning also. You have to fit it, force fit it somehow. Because these words, consciousness and awareness, were not meant for this use. So there is no word in English.
Pranam Swamiji, I am feeling blessed in your gracious presence. To save time, my name is Manas, and to save time I will just read my question. For any experience, there has to be a conception in the mind.
For any experience, there has to be?
There has to be a conception in the mind.
Conception or consciousness?
Conception.
Conception, okay.
Conception in the mind. While the attention is getting convoluted or withdrawn back during the experience, the spiritual experiences, from this body, this mind, to me, and to that, ultimately it's conceived as isness, or Brahman is. Is this the last resort of the language where something can be conceived, and the absolute is still beyond this, which is beyond conception or non-conception, which Nagarjuna has pointed out?
Yes. Now, the answer is in your first sentence of your question. I was listening very carefully. You said every experience requires a conception. It does not. A baby is born without any thinking, without any conception, preconceived notions, can experience the world. An animal without any conceptions also can experience, without maybe bare minimum, can experience the world, may not understand anything. So experience is possible. Consciousness plus object is experience. Now, if I have the conception of a bottle, when I experience this, I will say, oh, I am experiencing a bottle. If I have no conception, I have no idea, something, kinchit, something. So, but experience will continue. Now, what you said, yes, we impose a network of conceptions and labels, nama rupa. We'll impose a network of language and conceptions on our experience. And then we use the language and conceptions to analyze, like we did this analysis. As you said, the last resort of language, that isness, awareness, that's also language. You're right, that's also conception. But it points to something existing and shining. Even if you drop those conceptions, and you have to drop at some point, then remain as the reality. Wittgenstein, who was a great philosopher of the 20th century, in Cambridge University, once while teaching, chalk, he's writing with a chalk, and he holds it up. He asks a student, same question which you're asking. You ask a student, what is this? He said, sir, professor, it's a chalk. So he threw it at the student and he said, chalk is a word. That one which hit you, is it a word? So we confuse our words and concepts with the reality itself. At one point, the words and conceptions, they have to be used, but they have to be dropped. And the reality alone remains. They are beyond language. Yeah, you're right. Last, and then one gentleman here, that we'll end with this, yes.
Pranam Swamiji. My name is Satyavrat Das. I'm impressed by your range of knowledge. I'm a close follower of yours. But today's question doesn't relate to Vedanta. It relates to our existence. I think each of us here, who is a thinking and responsible citizen, is bothered by the situation in the world. From home to the international front, you find only violence and absence of peace. So on this background, I expect a thoughtful answer from you. What is the secret of happiness?
Yes. The situation in the world, the answer to this is twofold. One is, it's nothing extraordinary. Those who have lived for a long time, like, sir, you have seen life. So, last 20-25 years, more or less, a little bit of peaceful existence was there. That's also not true. Now, because we have Ukraine war, Gaza war and all that, we think that something terrible is going on. A lot of other things are going on in the world. But if you go back 30-40 years, Vietnam war was there. Before that, Korean war. Arab-Israeli wars are continuing. Before that, Second World War. The senior most member in our Vedanta Society in New York, Bill Conrad, he's 102 years old. He used to fly bombers in Second World War. If you tell him, oh, terrible war is going on, he will laugh. He said, this is nothing compared to Second World War. So we have seen all that. So that's one answer. History goes through these curves. And our job is to make the best of it as we can. Vedanta is eternal. It will be applicable at all times. Second, important, what do we do? As Vedantins, as spiritual people, we must, in this time of crisis, we must take a stand on what we believe. We believe that all religions are true. We believe in the harmonious coexistence of all beings. We should stand for that. We should speak up for that. The world needs that now. If we believe in spirituality, if I believe in a spiritual path, then be more spiritual now because of the challenge. Yes. Good. Finished?
Maharaj, pranam.
Okay, last question.
I'm obliged, madam. After, in our college career, we have seen Swami Ranganathananda Maharaj. I have personally attended many of his speeches. Today I am very happy that since I am your follower in Facebook, I am with you. Daily I am collecting your reels, I am saving it and just reading all these things. After inspiration, I got a postgraduate in yoga. But one doubt, my doubt is, as per a psychologist, there is conscious, there is subconscious, there is unconscious. Shankaracharya has told about Mano Buddhi Chitta Ahankar. And Vedanta, you have placed today conscious. So what is the relationship between the psychologist, Shankaracharya, and the Vedanta consciousness?
Yes.
You have doubt,
Very
actual
good,
doubt.
Good question. To understand the mind, you have to bring in another thing, yoga, Patanjali yoga. There you have to see the vasanas, the storehouse of impressions. That corresponds a lot with the subconscious or the unconscious of psychologists. According to Advaita Vedanta, consciousness is understood at two levels. One is the reflected consciousness, which is the conscious mind, where ego reflects the consciousness and we feel consciousness right now, all of us feel. This is the reflected consciousness. But one is the Paramarthika consciousness, which alone is appearing in this world as the conscious mind, as the unconscious mind, as the vasanas, as body, as the entire world, as Vidyaranya Swami was saying right now. So there are two levels to understanding consciousness. To map it with modern psychology, you have to bring in yoga and also Vedanta.
And
But now we must.
Your email, please, kindly. Your email.
You have come
because we have
equipped
many doubts.
ठीक है. So we will wrap it up. We have run out of time. We have to stop now. Thank you. Thank you.
We have come to the fag end of this evening's spiritual discourse by revered Swami SARVAPRIYANANDA Ji Maharaj. Now I request Professor Sarveshwar Sahu, Convener Vivekananda Bhavprachar Parishad Odisha branch, to give vote of thanks.
परम पूजनीय भुवनेश्वर रामकृष्ण मठ मिशन अध्यक्ष श्रीमद स्वामी आत्मप्रभानंद जी महाराज, वेदांत सोसाइटी ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क मिनिस्टर इंचार्ज एंड स्पिरिचुअल लीडर श्रीमद स्वामी सर्वप्रियानंद जी महाराज, रामकृष्ण मठ मिशन वरेण्य सन्यासी वृंद, उपस्थित ठाकुर माँ एवं स्वामीजी चरणाश्रित भक्तवृंद, आज आम मान निश्चित भाव गोटे स्मरणीय दिवस एइथिपाई जे 1893 सेप्टेम्बर 11 रे चिकागोर कोलंबस हॉल रे जेभली स्वामी विवेकानंद मनीषर स्वरूप उपरे आलोकपात होता एवं पाश्चात्य देश पूरा नीरव भाव ग्रहण करने आज से भली मत मन जे मनीषर जो यथार्थ स्वरूप तुम्हें कॉन्शसनेस, तुम्हें देह नुहे, तुम्हें आत्मा, तुम्हें जड़ नुहे, तुम्हें देह नुहे, ये सब उपरे जमती पाश्चात्यवासी स्वामी विवेकानंद मुहर शुणी 1893 आज आमे भुवनेश्वरवासी से भली स्वामी सर्वप्रियानंद ठारू आज आमे जो सुपर कॉन्शसनेस आनंद स्वरूप चिदानंद ए संपर्क में शुणी आमे अत्यंत विमोहित होइछु एवं सेथिपाई आमे अत्यंत गर्वित एवं धन्य। तेणु समस्त भक्त मंडली तरफरु एवं रामकृष्ण मठ मिशन भुवनेश्वर तरफरु महाराज को धन्यवाद अर्पण करिया संगे संगे मोर भक्तिपूत प्रणाम निवेदन करुछि। आज पुस्तक उन्मोचन अवसर रे पूजनीय श्रीमद स्वामी शिवध्यानानंद जी पुस्तक संपर्क में सविशेष तथ्य आम मान गहन में प्रकाशित करिथवा हेतु महाराज को मोर भक्तिपूत प्रणाम जनाऊछि। आउ ब्रह्मानंद छात्रावासर पिला माने आज जो प्रारंभिक संगीत गान करी एक भावमय परिवेश ए हॉल रे सृष्टि करथिले सेथिपाई ठाकुर निकट प्रार्थना करुछि प्रभु सेमानंकर चलापथ आहुरी कुसुमित करंतु एवं सेमाने आहुरी आगकु बढ़ंतु। आमे जानिछे भक्त भगवान भागवत एक, तेणु आज परम पूजनीय श्रीमद स्वामी आत्मप्रभानंद जी जो भक्त मानकु एकाठी करई आम मानकु सबकॉन्शियसनेस वेदांत प्रचार वेदांतर बाणी शुणाई आमको जो विभु कृपा लाभ करिबारे सहायक होइछन्दी से हेतु मु भक्तमंडली तरफरु आउ आम मठ मिशन तरफरु एवं अन्य ओडिशार विभिन्न प्रांतर आसीथिबा भक्तमंडली तरफरु कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन करुछि। आउ शेषरे मठर जो प्राचीन भक्तवृंद एवं ओडिशार विभिन्न प्रांतरु स्वामी सर्वप्रियानंद भाषण शुणा प्रबल बेगे छुटी आसी से आंतरिक कृतज्ञता जनाऊँगी। आउ आज एंकर डॉक्टर पार्थसारथी दे एवं सोमनाथ मिश्र आज कार्यक्रम टी सुंदर भाव संयोजना करिथिबारु आम भक्त मंडली तरफरु मु साधुवाद जनाऊँगी। एवं सर्वशेष विवेकानंद हॉल टी को साजसज्जा करवा एवं गोटे मनोरम परिवेश मनोज्ञ परिवेश सृष्टि करिबारे आमर परम पूजनीय स्वामी पद्मेशानंद जी महाराज एवं को मध्य मु मोर आंतरिक कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन करुछि।
One announcement, please. There's an arrangement for Prasad Sevan. So all the devotees are hereby requested to please stand in the queue. And Mr. Dhol is like to say something? And tomorrow also we invite you all to this auditorium, because tomorrow's program is Vedanta in our day-to-day life by Revered Swami Sarvapriyanandaji Maharaj. So please do come and do attend. Thank you all, and please avail yourselves of this Prasad Sevan. Thank you very much.
हेलो समस्त प्रसाद व्यवस्था होती दयाकोरी आपण मैंने बिना प्रसाद रे कहीं दिवे ना सामना पटे लेडीज आ पछपटे आमर जेंट्स तेणु समस्त अनुरोध आपण प्रसाद पाई जीवे आपण सामना पटे लेडीज आ पछपटे जेंट्स निश्चित भाव समस्ते प्रसाद पाई जातु लाइन रे आपण प्रसाद पाइबे।